Violet Evergarden is a visceral and pensive masterpiece, and something that I love about the series is how high it regards the value of a human life. The story is set in a war-torn environment where we see characters struggle with loss and how they deal with it. Life is important because it's short and temporary. It can be snuffed out at any moment, like removing a flower from a flower bed. Death makes our lives precious and gives it meaning. Everyone is special and unique. Each individual is different as their own person and with their own life. This means that no one can be replaced. Our loved ones will never come back, and these characters are burdened by this reality and their regrets. However, people don't completely die, as people you love will never truly leave you, and they become a big part of you. As long as we do not forget them, they will continue to live on in our hearts. Just like what Gilbert's mother says to Violet in the final episode. We see this preservation of life shown in a powerful and emotional way in episode 10, where Anne's mother writes 50 letters to her, one to be opened each year on her birthday, preserving life over a span of 50 years. Violet is someone who was dehumanized and made into a weapon for war. She was a tool for the military, and the only person she received care from was Mayor Gilbert. Gilbert gave her love, compassion, and ultimately a life. However, she became too dependent on him to live, which Gilbert did not want. He thought that she deserved better than this, which is why he never came back even though he was still alive to help her grow. Through her connections with others and working as an auto-memoir doll, Violet started to understand emotions better, but it's not like she didn't understand what they were before. When Violet saw the pendants in episode 1, she felt love, as it reminded her of Gilbert. She just didn't know what the feeling was back then. Violet isn't emotionless, as her emotions were always there, deep down, and she just couldn't understand them before because of how she was raised. The pendant was very important to her, as it reminded her of Gilbert, who to her was the beauty of life. The bougainvillea flower is one of beauty, but it's also known to cause skin to rash. Gilbert has said that he was like a poison to her. Violet could not build a life without him and was too reliant on his orders, but throughout her journey she came to not just value him but also other people. She saw that other people were struggling with finding themselves just like her and that they were feeling the same emptiness. After finding out about his death, she breaks down. Her friends write her a letter to check up on her. Violet, unlike before, is able to live without Gilbert and realizes that now there are people who will love and care about her, unlike when she was younger. Hodgins tells her that she was burning in episode 1, but she says she isn't burning, she doesn't understand this. Throughout the story, she comes to understand herself more and more, and realizes that she really is burning. We see fire during the earlier episodes several times, reminding Violet that she is burning and just doesn't realize it. In episode 9, after finding out about Gilbert's death, she realizes the stain of blood on her hands and reaches the epiphany that she has done something terrible, and the weight of that crushes her. It's heavy. She was able to see this through connecting with others. She learns empathy and sees what life truly is. She came to understand the significance of life by seeing other people's loss and experiencing her own loss. Hodgins tells her that her sins cannot go away, her actions cannot be erased, however all the good she has done also can't be erased. Her choosing to be an auto-memoir doll and impacting so many lives can't be disregarded and won't be forgotten. Now, with the knowledge of her mistakes, she can work on improving and becoming better.
彼女はどこにでも行ける。僕と違って。
Violet became able to live without Gilbert. She was no longer dependent and she is free, just like what Gilbert wanted. She doesn't need orders anymore. Violet then goes back to Gilbert in the final movie. A criticism for the film is that people dislike how Gilbert is alive, as they say it negates Violet's journey of moving on. However, I don't think that's the case. Violet's journey was less about her moving on, but more about her becoming independent and coming to understand herself, others, and her sins. In episode 13, we see that Violet still believes that Gilbert is out there somewhere. She goes to see him not because she needs to, but because she wants to. Not only has she now understood the love Gilbert gave her, but now she wants to give that love back. Gilbert, just like Violet, is in deep self-loathing and regret, burdened with his sins. He chooses to stay on the island of Evergarden to help the victims of the war that he hurt. Both of them are haunted by their actions and have taken roles where they can help people who are struggling after the war. Gilbert, just like Violet, was forced into war. He didn't want to fight, but his family put him into it. He thought that his actions towards Violet were unforgivable, as he got her to do so much killing, but Violet tells him that she doesn't feel that way. She didn't resent him for what he did, and that she was happy that Gilbert gave her love and was a light to her amidst the cruelty. In the end, they both stay together on the island of Evergarden, a place which went into disaster due to the victory of Leyden in the war. These people are living in poverty, their buildings destroyed, children with no parents, who are illiterate, and there's not enough food. They both stay to support the victims and try to make amends. Diethard, the person who made Violet into a weapon, sees how wrong he was, and in the final movie he tells Gilbert that he will apologize to Violet. Dehumanizing people is terrible, and Diethard throughout the series sees that Violet is not a machine and that she is capable of human emotions, and he starts to value her. She was able to grow and blossom and become worthy of the name Violet. In the war-torn environment, she didn't understand that she deserved more and what Gilbert meant when he wanted her to be free. War is the taker of life, and people find it hard to cope with the aftermath of it. Some even want to go back to the war, as that's all they have. In episode 12, where she fights the pro-war people, she refuses to murder any of them, as she now understands the dignity of life and that these people are capable of change just like her, and she refuses to take that chance away. The flower Violet is a symbol of protection, and Violet is protecting their lives and them from self-destruction. In the final movie, we see that Violet's legacy has been passed down throughout generations. We see this perspective from Anne's granddaughter. Humanity carries on even after death. Kindness is not meaningless, and it's passed on like a torch here throughout history. We also see this in the first movie, where Benedict delivers a letter to Taylor, an act of kindness which made Taylor want to grow up to become a delivery woman, which she does, and was able to deliver letters to her sister Isabella, who is very far away from her. This shows us that small actions can result in big changes, even if we don't realize it. It makes you think that if Violet didn't get back on her feet in episode 8 and 9, then none of this would have happened. Everything we do has purpose and meaning. This series is about connections, through letters, distance, time, and even throughout history. It's about expressing yourself and how you feel, trying with all your might to find the right words. Violet Evergarden tells us that there may be struggles in life, but we aren't alone in them. We carry each other's burdens. Life is worth living due to the good times we have, as well as the good times to come. Human beings have an infinite potential to change and to evolve, and as long as you continue to keep living, there's always a chance for you to be happy. The story is a celebration of life, a celebration of precious moments, because they don't last forever. And when you go through painful moments, you can either choose to regret the good times or hold dear to them. Life may be hard, but Violet Evergarden also affirms the beauty of life. In episode 11, Violet writes a letter for a dying soldier and sends it to his family. In it, he stated that he was happy to be born into this world, and he thanks his parents for giving birth and raising him. In episode 6, the boy's mother left him to look for his missing father and never came back. This made him think that love was stupid, as it made people do stupid things. However, Violet tells him that this is not stupid, and if she was in his mother's position, she would do the same and try and get Gilbert back. She would do anything just to see him again. Life is so significant that it's worth travelling and risking your own life just to get back. It's worth sacrificing yourself for. All life should be respected. People have value in not what they do, but in what they are. Human life is the most precious thing there is. Life is important because it's short, and that's why we should treasure every moment and live every day like it's our last, as it can go away at any moment. Life is something that we must hold dear and cling on to. Thank you for watching.